Morning, welcome to this reflection for Wednesday the 20th of May. I am the Good Shepherd. Most of us hear these very famous words of Jesus and have a melty reaction inside. Or cue the cheesy picture of a very white Anglo-Saxon Jesus on the green and pleasant hills of Britain with a lamb on his shoulders and a look of tepid saccharine sweetness on his face. Or we might think of the 23rd Psalm and get emotional because we associate the idea of the Good Shepherd with funerals and the valley of the shadow of death. The truth is that there's probably a modicum of truth in both of these pictures of the Good Shepherd. Jesus in this passage in John 10 is talking about being a protector of the sheep who's not going to take advantage of them, through whom they find safety, leadership, guidance, protection and provision. But there's a greater field of meaning from which he's drawing in using this image to talk about himself and what his living presence in the world means. In talking about himself as the Good Shepherd, he's standing in the tradition of the wisdom literature and prophets. In Psalm 80, the singer cries out to God, who is the Shepherd of Israel, for restoration, salvation and deliverance. And throughout the prophets, especially in Jeremiah and Ezekiel, the bad shepherds of Israel are decried. Those who eat the fat portions of the sheep, who use and abuse them, neglect them, let them get ravaged by predators. Kings of the line of David were often called shepherds of God's people, and God promised through the prophets that one of the line of David would be raised up who would be a good shepherd, one who would protect the sheep and see to their flourishing. That sounds an awful lot like what Jesus is saying about himself in John 10. All who came before him were hired hands, who cared more about the lining of their own pockets than for the sheep, allowing wolves to ravage them. But he is the Good Shepherd who's willing to do all it takes, even to the point of putting his life on the line for the sake of the sheep, their well-being and safety. He is the Good Shepherd, I am, who in Ezekiel 34 promised to once again come and shepherd the people of Israel. And to underline this, Jesus does this because the Father is in him, he is co-identified with the essence of the Father, and so he obeys the Father's command. No wonder the people found it hard to hear what Jesus was saying and called him a lunatic madman. Here is a man who's making a claim to be of the same essence as God, and implicitly also the promised ruler shepherd from the line of David. Those are big claims. But what they missed is the difference. For Jesus' realm is not of this world. The realm in which he is the Good Shepherd is one in which God's concern is for the weak, the least, the last, the poor. A realm which is of the heart and mind and asks the whole of a person's life. One in which life abundant gushes up from within, because of the intimate connection with the life of God through the Spirit. So while it's true that God, our shepherd, never loses hold of us, even through valleys of shadow and death, the feast Psalm 23 promises is activated already in Jesus, the feast of God's presence in us, bringing life abundant and springing up in us along with life everlasting. May you know the presence of the Good Shepherd with you and the life that and joy that he brings this day.